Spice Titan.
Spice Titan. Yeah. Look at that.
A local, and then
that's Black Dog seasoning.
It is. It's even got a little logo on it.
What's it taste like?
It's pretty good. I just got it.
Let me hit some.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of bite to it. It's more probably like a rub. I mean, I'll put it on anything, but
yeah, you could put that pretty much anything.
Yep.
It's got a Old Bay kind of vibe to it.
Yeah.
A little bit of pepper.
I bet it'd be great with a Bloody Mary.
Yeah, for sure.
So
paprika.
We got a product here, and we're always expanding Black Dog Salvage's line. Are we recording?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay. And spice is one of my things. I'm a condiment man. If anybody knows me,
well, and because of that, I too am a condiment man.
You know, the storage space on the wall of the refrigerator door.
Yeah.
Is my domain. From mayonnaise to spices to pickles, it's all there.
Mine is full.
Yeah.
Always.
Never enough room.
Never.
Sometimes it gets put into the shelves, and it's like it's getting banished to the no man's land.
I will say I'm good about if there's 2 rows of condiments in my fridge door, and if I don't touch anything in the back row for a while, I will throw it away.
Is that right?
Yeah, I will jettison a sauce.
That's blasphemy, man. You gotta give it a chance, and it's just starting to age good. You know, of course, if it goes,
it'll separate. Yeah.
It will. That's okay.
Depending on what we're talking about.
Shake it up a little bit. Anyway, brought to you today by Black Dog Salvage Seasoning.
Where can they get it?
Yeah, rub it.
Rub some on.
Yeah. Rub this. You can get this at blackdogsalvage.com. You can get our pickles. You can get our salsas. There's all kind of stuff you can get. You can also buy T-shirts, whatever. Black Dog Salvage.
Or some trim with doorknob.
Yeah.
Fireplace.
Yeah, who wants that stuff? Just get the hat. See, I got the Black Dog hat on today because Robert and I were in a photo shoot today.
Is this what you wore?
Yeah, what do you think?
That's good. It's clean.
Yeah, not bad.
A little dandruff on it now, but you're all right.
Well, that's normal.
That'll come. For what? What fur?
For Virginia Magazine.
The Virginia Magazine?
The Virginia Magazine, yeah.
How about that?
I don't know. They're just doing an article on us, and, we've been around long enough to deserve a...
Yeah, have Black Dog ever been featured in Virginia?
And nobody... it was on my calendar, but I never read my calendar, and so Krista called me this morning and says, hey, we got a photo shoot, and I'm like... Well, I'm already late, and thanks.
Yeah.
And then I got to figure out what I'm going to wear, because you got to kind of dress up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
At least put on something that doesn't have a hole in it. And so here it is. I was with my fishing shirt, just hanging out for a little color.
Sure, man.
Black hat.
There you go. Black on blue. Blue on black.
Blue on black.
Classic.
Yeah.
Well, look out for that upcoming article in Virginia Magazine.
Yeah.
Everybody.
It's a really cool guy that was doing the photo shoot. Just a freelance photographer, and he was having a good time because every place. It's hard to find a place that's not good for taking pictures in Black Dog because there's so much stuff.
So many people use it for that too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we sold stuff for props, but anyway, that was just my day. Just bringing you up to date. What you got?
Hell yeah.
What happened?
Looking good. Nothing. No, I was pulling up the last one and going to read some comments.
Oh, we're going to go to comments right away?
Well, we can get into the episode. Today, I didn't write down when it first aired. But today is Season 2, Episode 2 of the Black Dog Salvage Podcast. We'll be talking about Season 2, Episode 2 of Salvage Dogs, the Northeast Farmhouse in Edison, New Jersey.
Edison, New Jersey. Yeah, that was an interesting job.
Let's get into it.
All right, buddy.
That's the wrong sound.
Yeah.
Oopsie. It's a live show, everyone. Here we go.
Is that live? Woohoo!
Here we are. We're back.
Back on. Yeah, this is. We got to get back in the. This is the second week for the season 2.
Yes.
And I know you're cranking. I'm cranking.
I almost wanted to cancel.
Yeah, but we got to do it because you guys demand it.
The show. Yeah, we are puppets with strings on our shoulders. Ready to
just
make it happen.
Yeah, it's only an hour.
Yeah.
You know, what are you going to do? I'm going to go home, sit.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, I might as well sit here.
Yeah.
Talk about
we get to hang out and talk.
Yeah.
No, I don't mean to sound pessimistic. We're here to do it, and it is always fun to relive the episode. This one in particular, we talked about for years afterwards. It had a few key plot points that we really hung on to. Some funny, some unfortunate.
So you're talking about notable. For the show or just for the Black Dog in general?
Edison, New Jersey, this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it had a lot of stuff that we ended up getting into that we weren't anticipating.
Yeah, I think Black Dog, business-wise, came out on top on this one. There was a lot of stuff.
Amazing stuff. And,
hopefully.
And where some of that stuff ended up, I don't know where the door ended up, but the other pieces that we found, like there's two doors that had all the dung on it.
Uh-huh.
You know, I don't think it was rat dung. I think it was like possum dung or
bigger.
Something.
Yeah.
It was I don't analyze dung too often, but this wasn't a wee mouse, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I think it must have been a raccoon or something.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, someone could identify
Is this
it.
where Jack fell through the...
I think so.
Yeah.
We'll get to that too.
Yep.
So first, we'll read some comments because I told you guys we would. As always, we do an audio and a video version of the podcast, and the video version goes on the Black Dog Salvage YouTube channel, under which you can comment and leave us questions. And here are some from last week. Paul Lazenby said, was worried you weren't making anymore. Glad to have you back. Channeled my inner Mike the other day when I couldn't get a built-in wardrobe out with a screwdriver. Heads were all stripped. Grabbed a lump hammer and a reciprocating saw. Took 5 minutes.
Oh, my goodness. You took too long. I mean, a reciprocating saw, or sawzall as it's commonly known, it's the go-to, man. Of course, you're laying waste to it. Hopefully you're only laying waste to what's around it. So
right.
It sounds like you picked the right tool, my friend.
I mean, you always say go sawzall early.
Let's go ahead and get to, where you're going to end up. You might as well go ahead and just get there.
You tried the small one.
It took a long time to get Robert, but towards the end of the series, he started going. He got rid of that little ting-ting hammer and picked up a big old mallet,
Yeah, big mallet, big pry bar, big sawzall.
Go
big results.
Just go big.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, obviously you got to yield the right tool at the right time, but
that's right.
Because it can do some damage, and I'm here to attest to that truth.
It made good TV.
That's what, at the end of the day.
You always said it gave the shop, or Ted would say, the shop needs something to do.
Yeah, like how bad was this? Well, it was perfect before we took it out.
Yeah.
Now it's got some wear. It's got some Black Dog on it. Anyway.
Bobby Gully says, so happy you're back. Do appreciate you taking the time to do these as you are both super busy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Question, how did Robert get to be top dog and Mike big dog? Did that start with the show or before the show started?
It started with the show, and we started signing our name. People asked for our signature, and just I picked Big Dog first.
You did.
I did, and
So
then Robert came in with the top dog.
Trying to one-up you.
He did, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't mind being the big dog. Number 2 position is fine with me. It might always look the same, but it's sure going to suck up in the front. Robert's in the front. So there you go. No, but that was something we put together when we were signing, and just give a little extra to kind of zinger to be who we are.
Yeah, and then, of course, me following suit. I'm like, I want a nickname.
Yeah, you were the operator.
Which was probably an overstatement, but it felt cool.
Yeah, you got something. Ted was the dangler.
The dangler. I don't know. Did he sign that way?
I don't know if he did or not, because
that was sort of off camera.
It had a really interesting connotation, so I will let you guys figure that out. And we didn't have one for Grayson. I think she was just sweet Grayson. GG. GG was on this shoot today, by the way.
Double G, Grace and Grayson.
Yeah,
we're here again.
I forgot about her. She was at VCU at the time, I think. Subbing.
That's right. Simon Clark. Hi, Mike and Tay from the UK. Enjoying the podcast and rewatching as I listen.
Awesome.
Your TV series was great. I used to watch with my daughter. Was part of our dad and daughter time when she was younger.
Isn't that cool?
Unfortunately, it's only been shown up to season 9 over here, although it's called Salvage Dogs, depending which channel it's on, which is what it's called here. But, yeah, sometimes in different countries it's called something else.
Yeah, I thought it was called SOS Salvage. And
then there was Masters of Reclamation or something like that.
Italia. I'm not sure what it was. But thank you. And, it's kind of cool that you could watch this with your grandma or your little your kids, whoever. It was. I like to say we're not wholesome, but we try not to make too big a splash that way because everybody else does it. So just by not doing that, using barks and bleeps, we set ourselves apart, which was nice.
Yeah, it's nice to have a multi-generational viewership.
Yeah, and we see it. I mean, we saw it through the years. Grandfather, father, kids, grandkids. Just it was awesome.
Good, clean family fun.
That's right. I mean, but the stuff that made it off the show, we had a few superlatives that we used to, the Navy comma and every other thing that went along.
I think you mean expletives.
Expletives.
Superlative is like a best of.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Which could be your favorite word. In which case, it's a superlative.
I graduated from a public education, so what do you want?
Well, me too.
I think yours was better than mine.
Y'all put me in nice county schools for sure. Gary Olslaman, I'm sorry. Chock-a-block or chock-a-block, adjective, extremely full, crowded, jammed, using a sentence, a room chock-a-block with furniture and plants, or nautical, having the blocks drawn close together, as when the tackle is hauled to the utmost. So chock-a-block could also mean, I think you call it two-blocking.
The two block is when you pull a purchase. It's a pulley system where you have 3 or 4 or 5 blocks. Runs, but just shivs that the wire or the rope went through. Mm-hmm. And when you two block, you've pulled it to its limit.
So apparently, chock-a-block can also mean that.
Chock's a block.
Maybe.
Yeah, it makes sense. I never used that. I always called it two blocking but not many people know that because that's not really used hardly anymore, except in square riggers and stuff of that nature. But that's a good one. Thank you.
Gary goes on to say, funny thing is, I grew up in Kentucky hearing and saying chunky bunk, meaning the same thing. But my quick search can't find any place that says chunky bunk. I wonder if maybe that was just a family thing.
I think it might have been a family. Well, who am I to say? Your vernacular is where you are. So chunky bunk.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I like it too.
It's kind of fun to say.
Sounds like a dish of something.
Yeah,
I'll take the chunky bunk,
I heard
please.
You guys had a mean chunky bunk.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for that. Yeah, it's fun to hear terms that are, and you can go back and nowadays Google them and find out the origin of them and what they really mean. So that's something that and Ted was good for that. He was very well
crossword wizard,
very well read, and he could pull some of that together. And of course, we brought his values for the English language down, but it's all right. It's Ted.
Yeah, words are fun.
Yeah, they are. I mean, I don't use them enough.
Sometimes I use too many of them.
Yeah,
I want to use less of them.
Yeah, just less is more for me.
Well, let's get into the episode, shall we?
Yes, sir.
You doing okay, by the way, today?
Yeah.
Doing all right?
Yeah.
You had a photo shoot?
Well, yeah, that was this morning, and it's hard being a glamour star.
I mean, it follows you. It'll follow you the rest of your life.
Well, I hope so. I hope somebody wants to take a picture of me when I'm 80 years old.
Yeah.
But I've got 13 years to get 80.
That's a lifetime.
That's nothing. I can do it standing on your head, not my head. Edison, New Jersey. This was something we did it without visiting. We did pictures only.
So that was real.
That was absolutely real. I never did a site visit on this, but the pictures were good enough. And the folks that were going to be taking this house down, and of course they were demoing the house to build another house there.
Well, that was a pretty affluent neighborhood. There were
this was
farms.
I mean, you could almost see downtown if we could step on the trees a little bit. You could see Manhattan. Mm-hmm. So that was very close.
You said it was just west of Long Island. Or Staten Island.
Staten Island, yeah. So you could see, if you were treetop level, you could see the whole skyline, which was, Staten Island, Manhattan, whatever goes out behind that.
The Statue del Liberty.
So we were close. And as a matter of fact, I think we did this delivery. Yes, that's definitely the case. Ted and I did this delivery to Manhattan before we did this show. Before we did this episode. And I don't know that we
the fire door?
Yeah.
Oh, so that was...
we did that because we try to...
I thought that was in season 1.
It might have been, but it doesn't make any difference. As far as timelines of what you do, we used it for. We actually did it that time. Again, I don't look at the chronology of all this.
We either did this job earlier than it seemed, or that door delivery happened later than it seemed.
Whatever
and they
works.
Moved it around.
But I saw because we took the old Isuzu truck. We didn't have the big Hino yet. Took the old Isuzu and we went into Manhattan and delivered these doors, installed them, got back out and went to and then the next day we were in Edison doing this job.
Right, and the rest of us came up to meet you guys.
Yeah, so y'all were probably already en route.
Yeah,
one day behind us, but
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, it's
reality.
The reality of reality TV, guys. It's just behind the scenes a little bit as far as what you do, when you do it, and when they air it, how they put it together. Because a lot of it's just cobbled together and in a good way, a professional way. Obviously, Clark McCarthy Miller.
There you go.
Clark was our
where cred's due.
He was our. I think it was just Clark this time. Clark McCarthy Miller, our producer, one of our executive producers on site.
Yeah,
I remember it was so hot.
It was very hot,
and we all I wanted was something cold. I mean, like a cold cut sandwich or something.
Oh, you're gonna get to this already, are you?
Already, I'm gonna go right to it. And I think he ordered lasagna, or was it pizza?
No, it was lasagna. Yeah, so I mean, it was over 100 degrees outside
in the shade.
Yeah,
and we had hot lasagna to eat. And I didn't give him too much crap, but I did definitely say
later on,
hey, dude, cold cuts. Just kind of have lunch to the temperature, and it was unbearable.
Yeah. Well, it may not have been that big of a deal that day, but we didn't let him live down. Every time it was hot and he was asking what we wanted for lunch, we would jokingly say, "How about some hot lasagna?"
No lasagna, please. It was fun. He was learning his business too. But Clark had been around this business quite a while and
run some big shows. Kate plus 8 and some other
being as young
stuff.
as he was. He's not like the rest of us. He's not young anymore. He's got 2 kids, and he's procreating down there in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Sure, he's doing some other stuff, but yeah,
well, he's got a great Brady Bait. This is his daughter Brady. And he's got a business doing the side hustle, doing crankbait, worms and little fishing things.
Love it.
And we sell it at Black Dog.
Do you?
Yeah.
Good deal. That's cool.
I don't know if he has a website, but he probably does. BradyBait.com. I don't know.
Sure.
Brady'sBait.com. Anyway.
That or on Facebook or something. You can find it.
Yeah, that's a little thing there.
Go help Clark out.
Help Clark.
He made the show you guys love.
Supposedly he's a hell of a fisherman. I just never got the opportunity.
I heard him talk about it every now and again, but never really leaned into it.
But this house was older than we thought.
So the graphic said, and then Robert insinuated that there were really 2 structures there. It was the original building from the late 1700s.
Right, which was a log structure, or timber frame structure.
And then the addition, which was put on probably in 1840 and done in a Greek revival style. I guess at that point, the whole double structure was probably refaced with trim and siding or however they did it to make it all kind of look the same from the outside, but you could tell there's different sizes and
yeah, the forensics of something like that, Robert was really good at is finding out where something started and ended and the blending of 2. And there's a couple of them through the series that we ran into that it was pretty obvious what happened. And this one was a little bit more hidden. And, of course, we didn't have a lot of time to do a whole lot of research on this particular building.
Right.
But it was had a lot of surprises for us.
Had a lot to give.
Yeah.
I mean, this episode was 99% salvage. I think that just shows how big that job was and how much content we got from that job. Because, we wrote there was a wow before the salvage. There was a wow and a build, but it was minutes of the episode, whereas the salvage was,
which was nice. It's but there was a lot there. The whole thing of. I don't know where you want to start. We got the front door, which was pretty awesome, real awesome.
That was the last thing that we did. The first thing that they dove into was the plinth blocks, the hand carved plinth blocks, and the 4-piece trim. The door and window trim was not just a piece of wood pushed through a shaper.
Yeah,
it was a backboard and then 3 pieces of molding.
They call it compound. Yeah, it had a lot of different pieces to it. This one was beautiful. I mean, and it came off pretty well. The corner blocks were a little bit more, not as accommodating.
Yeah.
To be removed.
Well, they were hand carved and then sort of picture framed.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
Grace broke one. I remember
it was
a
kind of
lesson there.
funny watching her do that. You know, it's like I told you a long time ago. You can't outrun your DNA there.
So I had a moment like that too in this episode.
Exactly. It just happens. You know, if you don't, you just own it, I guess is the way. Just own it, and it's who you are. It's going to happen. You know, we're not in the archaeology business. We're in the salvage business. So.
Yeah, and the timeline's a lot faster in salvage.
Well, we
than
kind
there is.
of are in the archaeology business, but
architectural archaeology.
Yeah, somebody isn't there a company like that?
Yeah, that's the
Pickers
company. Yeah,
archaeologists.
Architectural It's very easy to say.
Yeah, so that's why we didn't call ourselves that.
No, it's something else, archaeology. But anyway.
Sorry.
Yeah, great. You got shorter now.
Yeah, sorry. You're playing with the share, Mike.
Grace broke one, but had an overall success there. A lot of trim that kept Grace and Grayson and I busy for most of the job. I did, though, when we switched to flooring, we coined the term pulling a mic. I cut the cord of the circular saw in half with the saw.
You cut the cord with the saw that was being powered by it.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. That's not an easy way
First
to say
cut.
that either. Yeah.
Cut it right in half.
It happened. You know, that'll happen. Luckily, there wasn't any sparks or backfire on you to
a little bit,
take
probably.
you. No, you didn't feel it.
No.
It's
double insulated.
No, you do it all the time. You know, it happens. It happens.
Well, and so I think you probably made the joke in a playfully self-deprecating way, saying, you pulled a mic. And then what I gathered from the on-the-fly interviews was that the producers really leaned into that term, and they asked all of us, like, well, what does pulling a mic mean? You couldn't hear that in the episode, but I kind of remembered because the way we answered it, you could sort of tell what they had just asked us.
Well, I'd become the go-to punching bag, I guess. It's not a punching bag. No, it's all right. It's all right. I owned it, just like I told you a minute ago. You got to own who you are.
Yeah.
And I owned it. Sometimes people just took it a little too far. People walk in, don't know me, so they think they know me, and say, "Hey, Mike, what'd you break today?" It's like, nothing. It's early, you know.
Yeah.
And
you get so bored or exhausted of the same.
I know.
Joke,
I'm okay with it. If it gave you some joy, then there you go. That's all that mattered to me. And there's a certain. I mean, I didn't go in the back room and cry or anything. I just, get busy. You know.
Well, one thing that made me laugh was, we're talking about pulling a mic and what that means, and I think I said something like, it just means that you mess something up. And then they ask you about it, and you're like, yeah, well, I just hope I don't go in there and pull myself.
Yeah.
And you were like, ooh.
Ooh, that didn't sound good. Yeah. Pull this.
That was hilarious.
It was. It was fun. It was fun. And, but we had there was a building in the back. Let's finish the main building first. So
sure.
Even though we're out of sequence. Pulling the portico off was, we had a United Rental, who was our sponsor and provided all of our equipment through the years.
I think this is the first time their logo made it onto the camera.
Yeah.
Big blue logo there.
It was, and we ordered too small a lull or a forward drive forklift.
Yeah.
An extendable forklift, and it was restricting.
It wouldn't reach all the way.
It barely reached. Yeah.
To set the scene for people a bit, maybe, just in case some people think we're just skipping around, this house had a entryway, which was, it's a portico, which is the roof over the porch and columns. It's sort of a entryway. And then the actual entryway door, which was a beautiful door with side lights and a huge transom. And so that was a big feature on this house.
Right. And the roof, and I was charged on a 99 degree day. I was charged with going up and taking the roof off of this thing, and Robert wanted the whole thing intact, and it had rod in it, but he was adamant about getting it all intact.
I tell you what, that back and forth made me laugh pretty hard. Yeah,
It's funny that at the end of the day, it's like, okay, I was wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at what a big man to admit.
You know,
doesn't happen often, but
yeah. But he plays he's. I asked him. He says you could be humble. He says, not me. I'm not humble. I'm never humble. Or
yeah.
Well, this work will humble you. By the way,
no kidding.
It's not something. It's not if you're going to fail. It's when.
Well, because pieces were falling off this portico, and he was blaming you for being too rough, and you were like, Robert, I barely touched it. The thing's rotten. It's falling apart.
I tried to tell him, but again, we brought it home. We did. He wanted it, so I think it ended up in pieces, and
we let it rot in the yard.
Yeah. And then we threw it away. I think we pulled some pieces off of it, but the doorway on this thing was pretty doggone amazing. We had to get in there and cut the timbers. And once we started to expose the guts of the house or the guts of the walls, we saw that it was a timber frame, and it was kind of cool how they had stacked the bricks, rocks and bricks inside the opening as insulation.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't have blown insulation or anything, so they used these pieces of wood or bricks to do it.
Yeah,
it was pretty cool.
Just to physically fill.
I don't even know if you see it on the show.
Yeah, we just see sort of that area where the header was, that big header beam you guys had to cut out. Right. So that was a little sketchy. It was had to brace around it.
Solid
so that when you take a chainsaw to it, the whole house doesn't fall down.
Right. Well, that was Robert's. Y'all's engineering, and then Ted did the Hercules thing. He
that was funny.
He picked that thing up, and he's a strapping young man, older man, and had the bull to do it. But that thing was heavy.
Big chunk of wood.
Yeah, and thank goodness he didn't hurt himself showing off.
That's the worst way to hurt yourself.
Yeah,
is gloating or whatever.
It's like, oh, my
look
back,
at this.
My back hurts now.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, buddy.
Yeah. The bad part was that was completely unnecessary.
Right.
There's a concept here that we explored removing this door that's interesting to me that we did a lot, which was, again, sort of like archaeology. You have to remove the building away from the thing you want to do it. It's sort of less extracting the thing and more almost like cutting weeds away. You got to cut away, in this case, the wall and the header to make the extraction almost make
and sometimes you got to cut under the door and let it drop down a little bit to get it clear of the header because of the geometry.
Yeah, you can't always tilt.
Yeah, it gets caught
bigger.
Yeah, because you go on a diagonal from the top to the bottom, and it's taller. It's bigger. So sometimes it's just it's a game of, I'm gonna say inches, but less. Quarter inches. It's a fraction that can keep you hung up and cost you. So you got to think through it, do the geometry ahead of time, and then just strap it and pull.
Just yank on it. Yeah.
Get a bigger hammer. Get a bigger chainsaw.
In many cases, like the walls and the walls were built to a height, and the door was probably set in, and then everything was built on top of it.
Typically, how it goes.
And then over time, things settle and drop, and load starts to set on places.
This house was not coming down.
Yeah.
I mean, it was built tough. I mean, you said it was 18, whatever?
1840s was the bigger part, and 1790-ish was the smaller part.
I mean, that somebody tore that thing down. It's a shame, but it happens every day, guys. So much salvage, so little time.
Sure. And, back then, that was a huge house.
Right.
I guess, in 2014, it was being dwarfed by the McMansions of the day.
It was in the neighborhood. It was in the hood. I don't think it was in the hood.
No, it was actually a pretty nice neighborhood.
Yeah.
I think I remember farm. It's kind of like fancy farms and
in
nice
New Jersey,
houses.
it's known as the Garden State. And it's very lush.
It is.
If you've never been to that part, everybody thinks Newark or Trenton is New Jersey, but it's not.
Yeah. Well, let's face it, Newark's not doing them any favors.
Well, it's because it's so close to the Big Apple.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the case or not. It's just. They think it's more industrial, but it's truly the majority of it is not. It's a beautiful state.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
A lot of people commute to New York from Jersey.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, the house we did the last season up in Livingston was it Livingston? I mess that up all the time. That was a commuter neighborhood near Morristown.
Yeah,
commuter neighborhood to New York. and all these words. The train, you jump on the train right in. You know,
works out well.
Yeah, we don't have any trains around Roanoke. Well, we do.
Got the Amtrak, but it's not a commuter train.
No.
You wouldn't really commute to it because you would just commute to Northern Virginia, or something. Really, the first stop you hit is like
Bedford, Lynchburg.
Lynchburg. Yeah.
Anyway,
but the main building was nice. There were some other things. There was a Dutch door, two-piece Dutch door.
Yep.
There was that flooring fiasco. I might be overstating it, but
poplar instead of pine.
Yeah, Robert and I thought it was like 10-inch wide, 1.25-inch thick pine flooring floorboards, but we go to start prying on it and it cracks right down the middle real easy and it's real soft, and we're like, oh wait, because it was stained or something, couldn't exactly tell, and we're like, oh, it's actually poplar.
Yeah, and that age of poplar is still very, very pretty. I mean, it's gorgeous stuff. So y'all had taken the time to take it out, so we were going to take it with.
Yeah, and he goes, well, even if we can't sell it as flooring, it's still project wood.
Oh, yeah. And
Poplar of that size.
I think we did sell it as flooring.
There you go.
Because there was so much of it, and it was, it had a lot of beef left in it, a lot of life left in it. There was no reason not to try and market it like that.
There you go.
And we did it.
We stand corrected.
You know, it was cool.
Flooring was always so hard.
I hated flooring.
It's probably part of the reason why my back will hurt forever. It's just you just bent over for hours and hours with a pry bar.
Yeah.
Pulling and yanking and kicking, and
it got easier after a while, but not much. You know, they made pry bars that would work off the floor joist.
I remember everyone that made a tool for pulling flooring that sent it to us. I'd try it and go, I see where they were coming from, but I was always go right back to that big yellow Bostitch pry bar.
I love that one.
Throw it on an angle on the floor joist and tuck one ear under the board and go pop and work down every joist.
I was using that one the other day in Durham when we did a salvage job in Durham.
Yeah.
And the old yeller came out.
I bought one for my shop when I was like, I got to have one.
It is perfect.
Yeah.
And that's the one that was used by firefighters?
No,
that's the other one.
That's what was that?
I forget what that was called.
Yeah,
I know the one you're talking about, and we had a couple. We had a few of them.
It's standard, about 4 feet long, 3 feet long. Yeah. It's nice.
It was nice to kind of pick it up and whack on the walls a little bit.
Yeah,
had a few moments of nostalgia.
Oh yeah.
But in the back of this property, there was another. I guess it was a barn.
Yeah, garage barn kind of thing.
And so, the deal was we had everything. We could take the whole house if we wanted, although we didn't. And we started doing some hunting. You and Grayson and I went back and started doing a little discovery. And it turned out that we found some really, really cool doors, very old doors. I don't know how many light, probably 20 light.
Yeah.
Real small beveled glass lights that adorned it, nice carving and hardware. It was just incredible.
Well, they were beautiful, and they were stuffed in the attic of this garage.
They were stuffed on a bracket, and they were covered with some kind of dung. I'm not sure what, raccoon dung or.
Sure.
It was a biohazard, whatever it was. I got a mouthful of that stuff.
Yeah.
You were up pushing it off, and I was kind of down keeping it from hitting the ground. But once those things came out, we dusted them off.
The mustache will filter it out.
Yeah, that's what they say. That's what they say. Those were probably the best things we found on that job. Everything was good, but these were incredible. And we sold those to a guy out in Utah.
No kidding.
And I think he bought all the Fairmont stuff from season 1, and he also bought that pair of doors. And
what'd they sell for? Do you remember?
$3,000 to $4,000 for
awesome.
set. I mean, they were worth twice that. But we price it to sell, and they cleaned up so nice.
I was about to say they didn't have a bunch of layers of paint on them or anything. I think they were raw wood.
And once we got all the dung off of them, they shine. I mean, I would hope I would shine if you rinsed the dung off of me.
You hope that's what's left is something good.
There's something left that's worth rinsing. So there were some good finds there. We kept going back through, but those were the major ones for that particular part of the building. We spent the better part of an afternoon there. And I remember, we were needing some labor.
Okay.
Some extra labor.
Yeah,
Turned out. So I went on Craigslist and put a post for labor.
I don't remember this.
You don't remember this?
Maybe I will.
And I got a guy. He'd never made the camera. He had to sign a release because he was in the proximity of the camera, and he started giving me shit about my spelling or something, you know. It's like, because he was seeing everybody else kind of goof with me, and he thought he had the rights to do that.
That's a bad mistake to make. I've made that mistake before.
Hey, dude, you know, yeah,
you haven't earned it.
Yeah, you haven't earned it, and it's time for you to go, because remember, I signed the paychecks.
Yeah,
you know, you want to piss me off, okay, you know, but remember, you're a hired hand, you know. So I think we let him go. He got the hint that he had basically kind of screwed up and called the boss something that he shouldn't have. And I don't know why I brought that up. It's just I remember it as part of the whole dynamic of this particular job. Is we had people there that weren't normally there.
I barely remember this now, or have a vague memory of some kind of drama. But yeah, I don't remember.
And it was, I mean, just
I don't remember what he said.
I mean, we've had some doozies through the years.
Oh,
we try to hire locally if we can, if we need extra help.
Sure,
it costs money to bring in extra people.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy, I can't remember his name, but you know, I found him on Craigslist. So there you go. You know,
what you get, what you pay for.
I don't even think is Craigslist still around.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
I don't know why, because it's for people that don't want to have a Facebook page. Because if you have a Facebook page, you just go on Marketplace. And do that.
I don't use Craigslist anymore. I go to Facebook all the time.
I used to use Craigslist a lot.
Did
I
you?
think actually I remember listing a bunch of stuff for y'all.
Did you sell it? Did we sell it?
What?
Whatever you listed.
Few things probably.
Yeah, it's hard to sell.
I don't know.
It's real easy to get this stuff, folks. It's hard to sell it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, you got, because it's to be. I mean, that's one of the hard things that Black Dog has had to wrestle with. E-commerce. It's such a dynamic product to list online.
It's hard.
So I mean,
unless you got a trucking company,
some things can barely sell when they're seen in person, and so but you have to convey every detail, every measurement, the right measurements.
Oh man, that's bit us in the ass quite a few times. You're like, who measured this thing? And somebody bought it thinking that was it, and we ship it, and it turns out that it wasn't. And we have to eat it.
Yeah,
I just, you know,
shipping's so expensive anyway.
I've got some spice I can put on it now to eat it. You know, it's not any fun when you have to go back to and give somebody their money back. Like, we screwed up.
Oh, it's
so
awful.
It sharpened our pencils pretty good, and of course, you know, Robert got on the not the bandwagon, but on the stump, preaching this, that you know, it's only as good as the information is only as good as what you put in, you know. And if it's crap, it's crap. If it's good, it's good. So you know, it's easy to screw up on this stuff because there's so many details. And I always tell folks, hey, listen, show the piece, but show the flaws.
Yeah,
that's more important than anything else. You know, it's got a crack here or a defect there, and it's salvage, folks. But let them know what you're getting. Because because
they're going to see it eventually.
Yeah, and you got to document it. You know, you got to go back and say, "I showed you this. I showed you this." And, and sometimes they're right, and sometimes we're right.
It's a tough one, man. I've quickly stopped shipping big things from my shop because it's just such a racket.
Oh, we ship some cool stuff. I mean, we found some nowadays with the hot shots. There's these guys, they call themselves hot shots, which are kind of rapid moving companies. They'll come in with a flatbed, you load it. I've sent the beams from the not the shroud, the joist. What's the name of the thing? Not joist, but trusses from the preserve. We shipped those on a hot shot
from the homestead.
Yeah, shipped a Firestone sign down to Miami, and it just shipped some 16-foot tall Gothic windows down to Texas.
Good pricing.
Yeah.
I mean, what's it cost to ship 16-foot Gothic windows to
$3,000.
Texas? $3,000.
$3,000, yeah. And we had it, the shipping quoted at around over $5,000. And that was, whoa. I mean, that stops the sale sometimes. So you got to kind of tap dance around the shipping thing. And if you add shipping in, you know, when somebody says shipping is free, there ain't no such thing.
It's included.
It's included.
Yeah.
So and on our website, it's included, and we stated that shipping is included. You know, call for in-house pickup,
right?
Because that way we can come off the shipping and get it a lot cheaper. And we don't make money on shipping. We just it's a pass-through expense that it's just facilitating the sale. And that's been the hardest part through the 23 years we've been in business, to get people to understand that nothing is free. And, I might eat it. I might eat it with you. You eat some, I'll eat some, and we'll all come out happy. But that's the negotiation of, how's your taste for shipping? And, Wayfair and Amazon and all these big entities have ruined people's perception of what it costs to really do business in the shipping arena. And we're shipping big stuff. If we can put it in our truck and take it, an hour, not an hour, but a day away and back, we'll do it, because that's the cheapest for us, because we own the truck. We pay our people, and it's a lot cheaper. But hot shots, I've got a couple good ones. Heavy haul. We shipped the trolley that we had.
Oh yeah,
shipped it up to Michigan. And I put it on a one hot shot, and the guy comes back the next day and says, I hit the scale, and it's 10,000 pounds instead of 5,000 pounds. I said,
remember that.
And he couldn't do it. His trailer was under capacity. So we got a heavy haul hot shot, picked it up the next day, and took off with it.
Damn.
You just got to know what you got. I didn't know, got to know the parameters, the weight, the specs. I don't know why I got off on this tangent.
I'm with you, man.
Yeah, it's something that's hard to do, but there's people out there that can do it, and nowadays, especially after COVID, everybody's there's a lot of independents out there that are running around. You don't have to go through a big common carrier or a shipping company, because once it leaves your possession, it's gone. You can't control what happens after that. And it's nice to know that the piece you're putting on the truck is going to go directly to its drop point and be unloaded, and that's what happened.
Yeah, that's what's frustrating about the bigger freight companies, is that it usually jumps trucks about 3 times.
2 or 3 times, and this stuff wasn't...
And that's 3 opportunities for someone to break it.
We've gotten so many returns of people put a forklift blade through something, or... it's just a job for them. I was tired, and it's just no big deal.
Right.
So when we get something in, we always, if the box is clean, no worries. But if there's a defect in the box, like something's cut, then you unbox it immediately and find out that somebody had screwed it up, and you give it back to the driver and say, return to sender.
Yep.
So there's a little frustration in shipping.
Yay, shipping. Welcome to the shipping podcast.
Yeah. Storage Wars. What was that one?
Who gives a ship?
Who was Shipping Wars?
Oh, Storage Wars was one of them.
Shipping Wars. That was where these 4 or 5 different shippers would bid.
They made a show about that?
They made a show about it, yeah. And they would bid on...
they really are out of ideas, huh?
Well, it's pretty good, really. I mean, but they, just what they have, how they can get it there, the deadlines. They dramatize a little bit, but that was kind of fun. We did that on a daily basis. And everybody in our business does the same thing, because it's not easy.
And everything's different.
Yeah.
And you can't say I sell X amount of these, because everything's a different size.
All right. I mean, we don't sell widgets. That's a...
You do sell spice and pickles.
Spice. Brought to you today by Black Dog Salvage.
Spice Titan.
Spice Titan. Anyway.
If you dare.
The build for this show.
Yes.
It was the first swinging day bed we ever built.
Right. I took note of that. We built, when I was there, I probably built 5 of them.
Yeah.
And Black Dog as a whole has to have at least done
we've
2 dozen.
We've made a couple dozen so far.
Yeah,
and they're all different. They're all they all have a salvage component to it. These particular ones had the painted lady from Norfolk.
What is a day bed? Let's back up.
Well, it's a bed you sleep in during the day, on the days. I don't know. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, but that could be any bed.
I like day sleeping myself. I'm trying to get a little bit more in my in my calendar.
Yeah.
Sleep. It's nothing better than a early afternoon nap.
Man, you're there.
I think so. I mean, but the couch is sitting over there. That was my day bed. And day bed is just that. I think it's a bed that you can use during the day. It's usually out on a porch or something of that nature.
Or is it a bed that you can enjoy the day in? Because you could be in any bed during the day.
Yeah, but usually when you're in bed, you're sleeping. You're taking a nap. And of course, that's enjoyment. So yes, the answer is yes. Yes, you can you're enjoying your day, sleeping on your day bed.
But in Black Dog's case, the day bed became known as a swinging bed.
It was
a swinging, almost like a porch swing, but big enough for a mattress, twin mattress.
A twin mattress on it. Yeah, so we made them that size because that was very easy to get you a mattress.
Yeah,
and you just hang them on a couple of joists on the porch, and there you go. Yeah, you do it.
Where did that? Was this? If this wasn't the first one, I imagine it probably
was
ever that Black Dog made
that we made. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where'd the idea come from?
Probably Pinterest.
Yeah.
Where everybody else gets their ideas.
Yeah.
Just because again, there's hardly any originals.
Yeah. Truly.
I mean, there really isn't, and so everything is a derivation of another one.
Mm-hmm.
And is that the right way to use
Yeah.
derivation?
Yeah. Very well used.
Gotta make sure my grammar's proper here for you, because I was a terrible English student.
That was great. That was very good. You've redeemed the. Whatever you said before, superlative.
Superlative, yeah.
Superlative.
So, so I, go online, do some searching, and find something that has a little, swagger to it, something we can apply the salvage to. And I mean, swinging porch swings have been around forever.
Yeah.
I mean, my grandma had one on her porch that my sisters and I used to swing on, and then we'd dump them. We'd swing so high that it would dump us off the back of the porch, about 3 feet off the.
That's a resilient porch swing.
Oh man, we should have broke our necks many times, but that was fun. It's amazing. I don't jump anymore. I'm getting too old. I'm very cautious. Back then, you just fall off something and get back.
Yeah,
up,
you'd be all right.
Yeah,
what could possibly go wrong.
Nowadays, it's fractures. It's usually some orthopedist is on my orthopedist surgeon is retired, so I have to find somebody else to work on me.
Let's hope you don't have to find someone else.
That's my thought.
Easy living.
I'm getting a little bit older, so I'm getting a little bit wiser, they say. So here we go. But that daybed swing was really a nice little compilation. We still had Lonnie working for us at the time.
Yeah. And the pickets, you were starting to say it. The pickets came from the Painted Lady House from Norfolk.
Right, and this was a tea house in Norfolk in the Ghent region, Ghent neighborhood.
You saw that one in season 1.
Yeah.
We talked about it.
And these rails were the pickets were painted kind of a Victorian, real Victorian purple and blues and all kind of interesting colors.
Almost like Harlequin-esque.
It was awesome. And that was, and of course we hung it. And and sold it probably pretty quickly after that. But every one we've built since then is kind of the same format, but it's whatever salvage. Like the ones we're doing right now, we just ran out as the Cascades Inn up in Bath County.
Oh yeah,
those
are cool.
Near the homestead, yeah. So we took that was the last version of it, and you'll have to wait till season 9 or 10. I think season 10 to see that particular episode.
Yeah.
It might have been last season, which is 11.
Yeah.
So we got a year or so before we're going to get that one, but we can always refer forward and backwards on because it all is a blur anymore.
Right.
About what we did. It's
and you guys have probably seen it all, right? If you haven't, go binge watch it.
Yeah.
But it is fun. You should watch the episode before you listen to these podcasts, so it's fresh.
Yeah, or not,
or do whatever you want.
Whatever, yeah, it's okay. It doesn't matter. Watch it if you want.
If you've been to Black Dog, or if you haven't, if you walk in the front door, there's the main counter, and then you walk down the hallway to the right into what we always called the garden room. Mm-hmm. And on the left side of the garden room is always where the daybed. The currently showcased daybed
swing
was hanging.
Yeah, because we used a timber frame to put a little roof, almost make a little portico.
Yeah.
So we've got some structures in there that we hang stuff from that avails itself right now to that, and then we'll move it somewhere else. Because you don't want to get pigeonholes. Like somebody comes into your store when it comes to merchandising, and they see the same thing in the same place countless times. Well, they get bored. I think
they start to not see it.
Yeah, and so you move it, and that's just merchandising 101. Just change it up a little bit. If nothing else, your inventory is the same, but you reconfigured it so it looks new.
Yeah, you might see it in sunlight one day.
Your mom does that with her customers. Just rearrange the living room.
Yeah,
it makes it. It changes the whole look of the space.
The feng shui.
Feng shui. Feng shui.
So it was the catalyst of a build that Black Dog did for a long time.
Yeah, continues to. And we're doing gliders, which is kind of cool.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, so you don't have to hang them. That's a lot of people figured out. Well, what do I hang it on? I said something that'll hold it.
At the very least.
Yeah. I mean, you can put it in a piece of board or you can put it in a beam. I'd go with the beam. But you gotta know what you're doing. It's only as strong as its weakest link.
That's powerful. Real sure.
That's an anchor. That's an old nautical thing.
Yeah.
Anchor's only as strong as its weakest link.
That's true. I'm sure there's a lot of anchors left in the bottoms.
Oh yeah. I've left a few myself.
Chains.
I mean, I lost some anchors down off of Acapulco. Another story.
I've lost some anchors down. That sounds like if you like pina colada. Lost an anchor in Acapulco.
Yeah, we'll have to work on that one.
Yeah,
that's about it, man.
Well, there was we did this backwards. At the very beginning, there was a WOW.
Oh yeah,
and it was an Army range and an Army field light.
Yeah, yeah.
Which, of course, in typical fashion, those two things were probably on their own in the store, and we were like, "Hey, Army thing, let's do a WOW." What if it looks like we came from an Army surplus store?
It was
with some Army. Do you remember where that range came from?
I bought it from a guy. I forget his name. I mentioned it in the show, but I can't remember.
It was really nice.
Who it was, yeah, and it was complete. You know, it was like you just take it up and you plop it in a field somewhere and build make a kitchen. You know, and
that's a $multi-$1,000 wood stove.
It was awesome. I never got to fire it up because I told Robert I was going to take it home and fire it up. But I just make threats like that to get him going.
Yeah, I wrote that down. I said you were going to use it. Robert's like, we should sell it.
Well, yeah, but in the meantime, let's use it. You know, we could have fired it up right there, but it's a lot of work. You know, to fire, and it was clean, so we didn't have to clean it up anymore. We didn't have to sweep out the ashes. And then the field light was really awesome.
Yeah, that was interesting. What would they have? You've sunk again. What would they?
Shrinking.
It was like a giant floor lamp that packed away into a crate.
Well, it was a field lamp, so obviously you got to have power for it. But when you're illuminating a compound or that was what that was for, and it was in a box. So all you got to do is put it together. I liked it as a reading light. Sit on it and just put your.
That was a funny visual.
It was fun. And again, I can't remember where I got that thing. It's been so long now, but my memory's going on me.
Oh, one thing that did happen to Grayson on the salvage, she got locked in a room.
Oh,
did
really?
you see that?
No.
Yeah, we were, of course, Grayson and I, and probably Ted were heavy doors and trim and plinth blocks and stuff for most of the day. And I guess at one point, Grayson walked into a room and shut the door without looking to see if there was a doorknob in the lock.
Yeah. And there was.
So the door latched, and she couldn't get out.
That'll happen.
She was banging on the door, and Grayson, Ted, and I came up and was like, "What?" Started giving her some crap. Like, what happened, Grayson? You okay? She goes, "Can someone find a doorknob and stick it in the hole and turn it?
Help me."
Yeah,
that'll happen.
I love that you just took a finger full of the spice.
Well, it's good. We just got it. I want to make sure it's got some tang to it.
Yeah,
not a bite, but a little tang. One thing that we didn't talk about, which never made the series because it was on the other side of the camera, was we had an accident on that job.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm standing there in a room with, I think it was Clark McCarthy Miller and the camera. He was the producer, and I don't know who
Jack.
I don't know who the sound guy was, but Jack Bromley was the cameraman. He was standing there with his camera up on his shoulder.
This was Edison, right?
It was. It definitely was.
Okay, yeah.
And on his shoulder, and all of a sudden he disappears. He just boom. And we looked down on the floor, and the camera, he had elevated the camera above his head to save it.
Yeah.
Not knowing what he was going into down there.
Right.
And because, it really
could have been anything.
We could have hospitalized him, if not worse. And,
yeah.
And luckily, he just was scratched a bit, but fell through this door that they used at one time to pass, I don't know if they passed hay or
coal or
whatever it was through, and we didn't know it was there because the floor was so dirty. And oh my God, it's just scared. I just scared the bejesus out of me. I thought we killed this guy.
Yeah,
and Jack, if you're out there, man, that was very. I'll take that one to my grave, laughing after we figured out that you were okay.
Yeah.
Because this is dangerous work, guys. What we used to do was pretty doggone dangerous, and this falling, and it was funny because he was looking at stuff,
And what said, Jack, what's going on? Hey, there's some pretty good salvage down here.
Yeah, that was like his first words. Are you okay? Yeah, there's some cool stuff down here.
Yeah.
He's a fighter, man. Jack was a badass.
He was a big boy. He's done some stuff in his day. He's traveled the world and, done them. He always had good stories talking to these guys that were on the show with us. And they became family after a while, Jack especially. And we followed his kids growing up and the whole bit.
Sure.
And he's out there. He's still out there. I see a post from him every once in a while. And Jack, I'm glad you're still around, buddy. We didn't lose you on that one.
No kidding. It was a running joke for a while. Like Jack would say, how are the floors in here?
Yeah. And it really made you test things.
Yes.
You walk in because, when I walk into a salvage job, you just don't guarantee that the floor is under you. You take a stick or you walk real lightly on stuff until you prove that. I mean,
sound the floor.
Just a couple of weeks ago, I was doing a salvage pick over near Salem, and it was a bad building, and I was going back to get something that Robert wanted, and man, I went right through. I mean, got caught, and I won't tell you how I got caught, but I didn't make it to the downstairs, but my legs went through. I'm sitting on a joist.
Yeah, your downstairs got hit.
Yeah, I was trying to leave that one alone, but there you go. It was lucky. Although I'm not using them anymore. It doesn't really matter. Sorry about that.
It's all right. It's the end of the episode. If they made it here, they're cool with it.
It's old junk.
You're in the business of old junk.
Yeah, but that was that didn't happen too often. Thank God that that we hurt somebody in the business, because where we go was dangerous.
A lot of hazards. I mean, on the first episode ever of season 1, I think Gary fell down some stairs.
Did he?
Yeah, holding a camera in the schoolroom.
At the Izzard house.
In the Izzard, yeah.
Yeah. So, we survive. And these guys, they know how expensive those cameras are. And that's when Jack went straight up with the camera. And we picked the camera. I mean, it was at floor level. It was a pretty shallow hole he fell into, but his camera was still right at deck level. He was gone. He was down. Man, and luckily we didn't have to take him to the hospital or anything.
No kidding.
But it's if it doesn't kill you, it's a good story.
There you go.
And if it does kill you, it's somebody else's story.
It'll be a story later.
That's right.
On a TV show or something.
Well, it was fun getting into season 2. I feel a little better about it now. Just it's kind of hard to get talking about stuff sometimes.
Yeah, some days I don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah. Well, except Thursdays, and you got to talk to these guys.
Yeah.
Anybody who's watching out there, you dozen or so who like to watch our show.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the episodes are fun, and they give us a fun structure to wax poetic.
Yeah, just something. We're something to listen to when you're driving down the highway. That's the only time I listen to podcasts is when I'm driving.
Yeah, well, I have a 20-minute commute to and from work every day, so I can make a podcast last like 2 or 3 days. I'll listen to chunks of it.
Who's your favorite podcast? I mean, you're a Rogan guy or what?
Yeah, I like Rogan's. I listen to a lot of like stand-up comedian podcasts. Your Mom's House by Tom Segura, Two Bears, One Cave. Nate Bargatze's got a fun podcast.
I like WTF with Mark Maron.
I could quit listening to Mark. He's so whiny.
He gets so, but he's a good interviewer.
He is.
I mean, he's excellent. Matter of fact, I learned from that. If I was ever to become an interviewer like that, these people do their homework.
Oh, sure. Well, that's half the battle. If you're prepared, then the interview's easy.
Yeah, and he gets some good people. I mean, Mark's, it's called WTF or what the fuck.
Yeah.
And I also listen to The Pivot with, God, now I can't remember her name. Scott Galloway and Tara Swisher. Kara Swisher, yeah, and they're economists, but they have. I'm listening about everything that's going on in the market, kind of stuff. I kind of like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I'll just fall off on some tangent and just spin the dial and listen to whatever's there.
Yeah.
And so that's where we are. We're in that realm now. So spin the dial, find us, and waste an hour of your day.
It would be our honor.
Yes,
you did.
And here we are, right at an hour.
That's it. Please let us know what you think. Like it, subscribe, share. Again, subscribing to the YouTube channel is a good way to help out. And rate us on wherever you.
Yeah, give us thumbs up, thumbs down. Make a comment.
Save us to your list or whatever you can do.
You guys are great, or you guys suck, or whatever. Just say something. That's how the the magic happens in this particular thing, just to get your ratings up and
algorithms, baby.
Yeah, to get more people to listen to us, and we got a lot of folks that are still watching the show. Like I say, England's still on season 9, so
yeah,
that's good that there's new watchers around the world, and now that it's on the Magnolia Network,
a lot of reruns.
Yeah, a lot of reruns, and it's still good. We're getting a lot of new people in, but you can find us at any place you find podcasts, YouTube, like Tay said.
The video version's on Black Dog Salvage's YouTube channel every week, and the audio version is right here.
Yeah, wherever you're
Spotify,
listening to us right
Apple
now.
Music, Google Podcast, all that stuff.
Yeah, give us a thumbs up and say like it. That's all you got to do. Just do that.
Good.
All right. Well, we're going to sign off now, and we'll see you next week.
We'll see you for episode 3 of season 2.
God willing, and the creek don't rise.
Thanks, guys.
Be careful in California out there. You guys are swampy.
Swampy California.
All right.
Good luck.
You got anything to drink? Bring a case over. That's all right.
That's the IPAs. They're pretty hoppy. You want one?
I'll drink. You drink one. I'm not going to have one then. If you're not. Adios, muchachos.